Warriors Unite! Back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2 and the 1% Club. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are on your purpose. Hope you guys are conquesting under God's purpose and making sure that you're following your goals, your purposes, and not chasing distractions and killing time. All right, my friends. So we got a great topic today called Not Reacting Emotionally is a Spiritual Gift under Semen Retention. Before we do that, but let's go ahead and do some, and I know you guys don't like me going papers here, but let's do some more. All right, shout-outs. Soulitaire Records Officiel, thank you. As usual, Justin Greene as well. God's Chosen. Now, it makes a good point, and I think we're going to talk about this a little bit. He's talking about the fact that he didn't really learn a lot about these type of things from his mom. And, you know, as great as moms are, and I have a highest respect for what moms do in the family and for women do, because I think women are necessary for us to keep the generations going, and they have a great purpose in what we're doing. So I think women are great. I love women. There's no doubt about that. But in this case, women cannot provide all the information males need to be masculine males. And a lot of times they'll take it from their perspective, which is all they can do. And they'll try to raise the kids as best as possible, but they're not getting the information. So he's talking about the fact that his mom didn't give him all the information. Well, of course, you know, it's going to be hard because she doesn't look at it from a male perspective. She doesn't understand what males think and do to provide, especially back in the old days. And so what you're having then is a lot of males being brought up only by females, and it doesn't make them that strong mentally or physically. They have a lot of other great attributes, but it doesn't, the strength of character, the strength, the masculinity is not there. And it's hard to develop that. And so they have to find role models, and they're not always going to be good role models in a family, male role models. I know because I suffered from some of that myself when I was growing up. All right, Antonio, thank you. We're going to do a separate one on that one, by the way. So God's Chosen, thank you so much for that. NAR 1992, My Voice. We're going to do some work on quantum atoms, effective charges on semen retention. I like that topic, thank you. Alberto Medina, avoiding relapse. Yeah, we're going to talk about that a little bit as well. RBNTT 1967, thank you. SR 92007, 21 days, great. Harold Merewether, what happens on releasing, we'll try to do that as well. And Arachnid Ashe, got a job, congratulations my friend, keep it up. And Delo Entertains, John Jennings, colors at 32 days, thank you. SK Motorcycles, 200 days, premature ejaculation. I don't think, my friend, when it comes down to it, if it's by accident, wet dreams or something like that, I don't count it within the lifestyle. See, remember, this is a lifestyle, guys. It's not about how many days. I've lost track. It's about 1,150, 60 days. I can't remember what it is. But it's not really about the days anymore. It's about your mentality of saying, you know, I am going to learn how to control myself. I control myself through retention, then through other things, then I become a high-value male. And I think we're not taught that when we're younger. All right, so anyway, those are the shout-outs. So 3:45 here, a little bit later than usual, but we'll talk about something that really relates to this we're talking about, and that's not reacting. The spiritual gift you get, one of the spiritual gifts you get with retention, is the fact that you don't overreact. When you're releasing all the time, this has been my experience, when you're releasing all the time, you're more stressed out, you're more at your wit's end. Any little thing can get you started. You start thinking negative thoughts because you don't have all that energy inside of you. All those vitamins, all those nutrients you have, I believe, keep you well grounded throughout your body. And therefore, if you hit with a situation, you're not going to overreact to it. You're not going to be stressed out. If you lose your job, you're not going to be totally stressed out, and then you have to do things like releasing and other things to try to get rid of the stress. You're not really releasing, you're not really getting rid of stress, you're adding to the stress, because eventually you're going to feel guilty, and now you're weaker than you were before. The strength of character comes from the fact that you can handle adversity. and handle that well, warriors. And if you do that, then you become that strong masculine male that people look up to and that people want to be around all the time. And so that's the person we're trying to develop here. And one of the spiritual gifts you get from semen retention is the fact that you do not respond emotionally. This goes back to some of the teachings we're talking about with our swordsmen, our samurai, right? Myoto Musashi. I'm getting that better each time, I hope at least. And teaching that. Now, I also want to talk about a comment that Monalisa made, and always Monalisa's making always good comments here. Some may not agree with me, but that's wonderful. I mean, it's okay. But talking about living in the present moment, and he's exactly right. Talking about the present moment is important. You have to live in the present moment. The past is gone. The future is not even here yet. But what you can do something about is the present. You can't do anything about the past, and you can't control the future. But you can, the way you react to things makes all the difference in the world. And so some of the things that are important to kind of look at, we look at all the time. So for example, give an example. If something happens to you, some people who are simps, who are people who are not really emotionally mature or strong, as we're seeing more and more men in society, they blame others. They put other people under the, if they're leaders, they put people under the boat. They throw them off the boat. They throw them under the boat. They blame other people. So when you blame other people, you put yourself back in this process. You don't use your retention. You're not using all the self-control. You're putting yourself back a step. If you take responsibility, the more you take responsibility, the more you're able to move forward. This is the key. When you're on retention, you now are willing to take more responsibility because you feel stronger. And as you feel stronger physically, mentally, and spiritually, now this gift can work for you. And I truly believe that. And I think as you look at this, the key is going to be, how can I take responsibility, be that leader? Because most people in this world don't. Most people blame other people, you know. And it's just really interesting because it's almost like waters. There's a quote that I wanted to write down here, is that being calm under pressure is like your mind in water, okay? When the water is turbulent and chaotic and you're all emotional, it's hard to see. But when it's calm, everything becomes clear. And so as you look at these things, it's important to realize you're one of the 1%, because there's very few people that do this, right? The world itself we see is an optical illusion. A lot of these things in the world really aren't true. And this is why the Lord says you either live in the spiritual world or you're living in the world, in the material world, right? And so you have happiness when your mind is not clouded. And you're not clouded when you're on retention. You see things clearly. A lot of people mention in their texts that it's a very powerful thing, that people recognize, see them all the time, and are like a celebrity. Women adore them. Women talk with them, smile at them all the time. And they want to be near this person because they see life a lot clearer. They see this differently because they realize that what you're seeing is an optical illusion. You're seeing the world in a certain way because they're telling you this is the way it is. Yeah, go ahead and eat all you want fast food. Go ahead and react to anything emotionally. Be angry, right? Let out your feelings. Be emotional. Well, I'm going to go back to the old days, at least part of the old days. Now, I'm not saying it was totally good, because I think there needs to be a little bit of balance. And I think leaders need to show a little bit of understanding and sympathy and not be despotic and just kind of, rule, and just knock people over all the time, mentally, physically. But I'm saying that you do have to walk around like Teddy Roosevelt and carry a big stick. You have to be strong, which means you have to sometimes be cold. It's going to appear to be cold. You have to be fair and cold, but you cannot react emotionally. So not reacting emotionally means you're not going to get upset when someone says something. This takes a lot of inner fortitude, but with retention, you have a better mechanism. So what are some things you can do? Well, let's take some examples of not reacting, okay? So if your wife, girlfriend want to go out with the girls, or they want to go out, your reaction might be, especially if you're jealous, which is one of those things you can get a lot of if you're not on retention, If you're jealous, you would sit there and be upset about this. But the proper response is say, go ahead and go. Have fun. Because women don't expect that, first of all. And women are going to go and say, okay, they're going to have fun. But when they're out there and fun, who are they thinking about? They're going to be thinking about you. Oh, he let me go so easily. Maybe he's doing something, right? And not that you are, because you're on your purpose doing your other things. But the thought in their mind is thinking, okay, well, this is, I thought he was going to give some kind of struggle. I thought he was going to tell me no. And so you're doing what you need to do. But so many women are used to people simping on, paying attention. I saw this the other day. A woman, walking by and, she says hi. I just said hello. And then she was all upset about something here. She's getting into a car, was next door, slamming the doors and everything. It's almost like she was so used to men just oogling over her and paying attention to her. And I was doing something. I wasn't really paying that much attention. And all of a sudden I hear slamming, and she's looking at slamming. And it's really amazing to me because I didn't give her the attention, I guess, that she wanted. And just because I didn't really, I didn't really think about it. It wasn't that attractive to me. So it wasn't even something even besides saying hi and being courteous. Sorry, I can't even say that, but, that's all I basically said. And so basically what you're doing is you're kind of saying, okay, I'm living my life, but she was really upset because she thought I was going to react a different way. And you need to really understand that you are focusing tunnel vision on your purpose. All these other things are distractions. Yes, you can love your wife, which you should be loving your wife. You should, like your girlfriend, love your girlfriend. Those things are okay. But don't allow anyone, to go over your purpose. Your purpose, they fit into your purpose. This is a different mindset that we're hearing than in society. And because of that, you can't just sit there and overreact to things. Whether it's jealousy, whether somebody's doing something that you don't like doing, the bottom line is don't focus on making that person the center of your attention. I don't care who it is or what it is. You have to kind of live your purpose, and you got to detach from things. That's the problem with people who are very possessive. They want to control things. Control leads to a lot of frustration. And I've seen a lot of women who want to control over the years. And it's almost like they micromanage. Even in the world of business, you see this in micromanaging with men and women. They want to micromanage. Well, those things turn out disaster because those people rebel against it eventually, or they leave the company, and this person's never satisfied because they can't control every little thing. And if you're controlling every little thing, what do you need all these people for? And that's in the world of business, you don't need that. If you're going to do everything for everybody and you got to look at every little thing and you don't trust people, you're going to do that. So non-reacting is the idea that you're not going to just react emotionally. This is a key element. This is why retention is important. This is why people don't want to believe in retention. They don't want to believe back in celibacy or sophism or brahmacharya, because the world wants you to react emotionally. They want you to get crazy. They want you to be less of a man. The man has to be a stoic man who basically is unemotional to a level. Now, they can be emotional at times when they choose to be, but control your emotion to the point where you're not reacting to things all the time. Now, at some level, you have to, tell your wife, girlfriend that you love them, and that's okay. But just remember, they're in your purpose. You're not in their purpose. Once you start, in their purpose, you're putting them on a pedestal, and that's going downhill right away. But the key to all this is for you to have a purpose and a goal. And all these other things are distractions within that goal. And once you realize that, then you're not going to overreact to situations. Being calm is really a mindset. Don't be brainwashed, as we all have been, including myself for many years, that women want, and the world wants you to be more sensitive. That's a pile of horse manure. Warriors, they do not want, down deep, they may say that, but it's a bunch of trash talk. What it really means is that they want to control. And they want to control you. And as soon as you start acting this way, and you start showering people with compliments and all these other kinds of stuff, and you're getting away from your purpose, and you're always available, right? You're always at the phone, texting, and social media, then the woman loses respect for you. The business boss loses respect for you. They look at you as a yes person in relationships and in business. And those are both bad. You have to stand up and basically say, I'm my own person. I'm running the show here. I'm the boss. You're not the boss. And basically take over. And you can do that by action. I didn't even say it. By actions. By not reacting to something emotionally. When someone does something, you're in control. This is why it's probably better to sit back and listen to situations, people talk, and then make a response later. Even when someone sends you a nasty text or something you're upset with, don't respond. Email, don't respond. Wait, let it sit, and then go back and respond. That takes a lot of patience, but you can do that as you self-control more. As you control and have more self-discipline, you're able to control that more, and so you're not responding just out of spite, anger right away, or respond and say something you don't want to say. This is why a lot of people get into fights and arguments. They escalate things because they can't have any level of self-control. They can't just walk away from a situation and come back later to deal with it. This is why it's important to understand these type of situations. And so as warriors, as you're going along, this is why as you're retaining, you're learning more about self-discipline and control, and you're using this in all aspects of your life. Yes, obviously the sexual part, you have to have a lot of patience. If a woman feels like you want to just go in bed with her and take her pants off right away, she's going to respond in a negative way, of course. Why wouldn't she? Because you're thirsty. That's all you're looking for. But if you're patient and you're taking your time, you're not thinking about that outcome, and you're focusing on her, and like I said, focus on the eyes. If you read her eyes and you start looking at her eyes, all the other things will come along one day. But you got to have that self-control. And that discipline and emotional reaction, you're going to go ups and downs, just stay the course. But the main thing, you should not be focusing on that. You should be focusing on your goals, what God's purpose is for you, and those other things will come around. In fact, you'll have so many women around you, people around you that, you wonder what's happened all these years. Well, what's happening is you're learning how to master yourself. And the whole key to life is mastering yourself, as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so great topic. Thank you, Monalisa, for helping out with this one. I think that it's key to recognize that you have to be in control yourself, and then you can control other things around you. All right, as always, my friends, two things I leave you one. One, every day is a new day to a great warrior. And the reason we have to continue to keep battling is because every day is a new day. And the evil one could be around the corner with temptations, distractions to get you off your course. But to stay on your course, you have to continue to battle!